Chapter 28, page 197. Grounded. Voices. And a sound like scissors. Snip, snip. He is warm. He doesn't want to look. It is warm and safe behind closed eyes. Never saw anything like it. Good thing I was paying attention. A man's voice he thinks he's heard before. In the distance, but he hears it clearly. He didn't say why? His father's voice. Didn't say anything. Probably couldn't anyway. The way he was shaking. Funny though, when I stopped and got out, I swore I heard him singing. And you knew who it was? His mother. Well, I figured. Who else could it be? He fit the description, height-wise anyway. Otherwise, he looked like a drowned rat. And you were on the lookout. His mother. You heard the description and you were going slow and you were keeping an eye out. No more and everybody's safe. One good thing after another. His father. I was you, I couldn't wait to ask him why. He's been doing that all his life, Uncle Stanley. Running from the house. Can't keep him tied down. Always going. Used to believe he didn't sleep. Used to sneak out of the house to get to school early. Early. Not me. Chuckles. Me neither, but that's him. His sister too. When she was 2, she walked halfway to Cleveland one day. To Ludlow Avenue. Far enough. Laughter. And he thinks, Claudia. His eyes are open. He's in his parents' bed. Polly is kneeling beside him with a pair of scissors. She gawks at him. She bolts from the bed and yells downstairs, Mommy, Mommy, he's awake! Goodbyes are said. The front door opens and closes, footsteps coming. They're all in the room. His parents, Polly, Uncle Stanley. His mother sits on the bed. She feels his forehead. I can't believe you don't have a fever. He is speaking, but his mother overlays his voice with hers. Donald, what were you doing out there? The question is almost too silly to answer, but he answers anyway. Looking for Claudia, he adds, to show them how silly. Like everybody else. They're staring at him. Funny like, all 4 of them. Uh-oh, he thinks. They still didn't find her. Now they're looking at each other. Claudia? His mother says. The little girl, the little lost girl last night, explains Uncle Stanley. That's her name. The look on his mother's face is scaring him. Her eyes are sparkling directly above his. Her voice is almost down to a whisper. You are looking for the little girl? He nods, afraid to speak, afraid something will break. At 1 o'clock in the morning? All that time? He nods again. Her face is really scaring him now. So is his father's. Uncle Stanley turns away. He says, he doesn't know. She's dead? Donald, his mother's hands are cupping his face. He feels her breath. The little girl was found shortly after she got lost. Found her in somebody's car, in the garage, says his father. His voice is hoarse. Door wide open. She was pretending to drive. Uncle Stanley clears his throat. She was back in her house by what? 7:30? 8 o'clock tops? His father nods. Yep. His mother's doing a trick with her face. It is sad and smiley at the same time. But you didn't know that, did you? You just kept looking and looking. He nods. Then he starts remembering, and the more he remembers, the more confused he becomes. But I saw lights and sirens. She's looking down on him, crying and smiling. So if Claudia was found back home and safe and sound by 8 o'clock tops, he looks up into his mother's sad and happy smile. He says, who were they looking for? And reads the answer at once on her face, but waits anyway for her to say it. You, Donald. They were looking for you. For the longest time, the room is nothing but eyes. Her mother, his father, his sister, Uncle Stanley, all staring at him as if he will disappear if they don't. He's in a cradle of eyes. Polly pokes him. Yeah, dummy, you. And then the bed rocks and rolls as they all jump aboard. They're squeezing him and mussing his hair, and Polly is shrieking, You're sitting on it! She pulls something out from under his father, the thing she had been cutting with the scissors, a large piece of white paper cut into a fancy design. She unfolds it, holds it up proudly for him to see. Uncle Stanley gives a groaning chuckle. Just what he needs, another snowflake. For the first time since he's opened his eyes, he notices the light streaming through the bedroom windows and remembers, are we having a snow day? Ever since it came over the radio, says his father. 6:30 this morning. He cheers weakly. Yahoo! Then looks at the windows again and thinks to himself, what time is it? Almost 3 in the afternoon, says his mother. You've been sleeping for 13 hours. Oh no, only 2 hours of daylight left. Half Tank Hill. He tries to leap from the bed, but is caught in a web of arms. Not today, pal, says his father. You are grounded. Yeah, pal, says Polly, shaking her finger in his face, looking stern. For the rest of today. Yeah. And you're going to stay grounded if I have to sit on you. Yeah. Polly applauds, and now there's an evil grin on her face, and she's reaching into her pocket and pulling out my lucky stone. He snatches at it, and she pulls it away, sticks out her tongue. He whines, Mom! His mother holds out her hand. Give. Polly gives. Mom, drop it, he yells. This so suddenly, she does just that. She drops it onto the bed. You can't touch it. He picks it up. She looks hurt. But I'm your mother. She doesn't understand. A lucky stone loses its power if other people touch it. Nobody can touch it but me. He stashes it under the pillow. Is that thing what I think it is? His mother says. Bubblegum. I thought so. See, Polly sneers. It's not even a stone. She juts her face at him. And it ain't lucky. And it was in your mouth. Ew. Do you want to tell us why it was in your mouth? His mother says. He thinks for a moment. No, I guess not. His mother smiles. Okay. Polly whines. Mom, make him tell. I'm making you get off this bed. She pulls Polly off. Give your brother some peace. You were sure nice to him as long as he was sleeping. Now shoo. Polly stomps from the bedroom. The phone rings. It's Aunt Sybil. She wants to know how the patient is doing. Then it's Aunt Janet calling. Then Cousin Marty and Cousin Will and Aunt Melissa. When the doorbell starts ringing, first in is Mrs. Lepresti, the new neighbor. He's allowed downstairs to be bundled up on the sofa. For the rest of the day and evening, neighbors and relatives come and go. There's talk and laughter and food all over the place. Almost every person has the same question. Why? What was he doing out there? They want to know. And when his parents tell him why, they turn to him and stare at him funny. Then they come over and some sit on the edge of the sofa and some just bend down. And they're all smiling, that half sad sort of smile his mother had upstairs. And they all seem to have to reach out and touch him. He can't remember ever being touched so much. Somewhere in there, among all the ringing doorbells and laughter, he looks up and it's Claudia and her mother standing there. Claudia pounces on him and kisses him loudly a dozen times. Then she says something to him. He can't understand her words, but he doesn't have to. He feels them. As for Claudia's mother, she doesn't say why like the others. She says nothing. She just sits on the sofa and pulls him into herself and won't let him go. All in all, there's so much going on that he pretty much forgets he slept through a snow day.